everybody, my name's Yvonne and I'm from New Community Ringwood, and I just feel like there's a lot going on for all of us in the world at the moment, and as everything changes so rapidly, I thought it might be really useful for us to talk to some professionals, get some advice on how we might be dealing with this stuff. So I've got Zoe here, who's a trauma-informed counsellor, and she's just going to take me through some stuff that might help me think about it, and I wonder if it might be useful for you guys to put in practice in your lives as well, and to listen to some of the thoughts that she's got. Hi Zoe.
Hi Yvonne.
We're in the bush.
We are in the bush. This is what we call our second office out here. So I work in a practice just a couple of minutes up the road, and one of our favourite things to do is bring people outside, and at the moment we know that coming outside is still a good and healthy thing for us to be doing.
It's really good. I feel like I've been inside a lot,
Yeah.
and so to come out I recognise that I haven't been outside enough lately.
Yeah. And so one of the things we're encouraging people to do, to whatever capacity you have, is still to get outside. And so this morning we're just going to do a simple little grounding exercise in the nature that's around us. You can do this in the lounge room, you can do it in your car, you can do it at home.
I could go into my backyard.
You can go into your backyard. My favourite space to do it is out in the bush, and I'll talk a little bit as we go about why the bush setting can be a really good environment for us to do this exercise.
Yep, love it. Take it away.
All right, so we are all very stressed at the moment. The world has turned on its head.
Yep.
And so as you introduced, I'm a trauma-informed counsellor, so I'm typically working with people whose worlds has been turned upside down. And now in this pandemic, everybody's world has been turned upside down. And so typically if I'm working with somebody in trauma, I'm teaching them a little bit about their brain and what's going on in their brain, and I'm teaching them about this thing called the window. And in the window, we often have this space somewhere in the middle where we operate on a daily basis, and we're calm and collected, and we can work and we can function. But then if something really scary or bad happens, a part of our brain called the amygdala triggers, and we can pop out of that window.
Yep.
And so what we're going to do today is learn how to get ourselves back in the window, and we're going to have some further information about brains and trauma and windows and that sort of thing in some coming talks and on the website too.
So when you're talking about the window, it's in terms of how I'm dealing with life, and if I'm okay, I'm inside the window, but if things are not going well, I might kind of go outside the window. Is my behaviour changing?
Yes.
Is my heart rate changing and all those sorts of things?
So
I can feel it.
You can feel it. So the analogy that I usually talk about if I'm in my counselling rooms, and I say, we're sitting here and having a nice chat, and we're both in our windows and we're pretty calm and regulated, and a bear decides to jump in our window to eat one of us, preferably you, not me.
Oh no, that's not good.
And straight away our little amygdala, which is the smoke detector, it's just a little warning signal inside our brain, dumps a huge amount of adrenaline into our system. So we can fight the bear, we can run away from the bear, or we can play dead and hope the bear eats Yvonne, not me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So straight away we start to feel a pounding in our heart, and we feel breathless, and we feel like we want to get up and run, because that's our amygdala saying, run baby run, you need to stay alive. So the amygdala's job is to keep you alive.
Yeah.
And so, if the bear decides to go away, he's decided he wasn't really hungry, he doesn't really want to eat one of us, then our brain gets a signal and says everything's calm, don't need to keep producing the adrenaline, and you can pop back in your window.
So in terms of that window, when something happens, and this might happen in my normal everyday life where something happens and I kind of go up out of the window and then it settles back down and I'm back in my window. But I wonder if at the moment we're all operating right at that top of that window because there's so much going on around us, and we're also not able to do all the things we normally do.
That's right.
Yep.
And so what I've been doing this week, we've had a really busy week counselling wise, and so what I've been talking with people about is exactly that most of us will be either out of our window or at the very edge of our window. And so realistically what we're doing, the bear isn't going to go away. This crisis isn't going to go away in a real hurry.
No.
And so it will in time, and we'll learn new ways of functioning and coping, but at the moment the best we can do is take control of me. I can take control of me, I can learn about my physiology, I can learn about my brain, I can learn about windows, and I can learn to do what's in my control. And that might mean I need to do a grounding exercise right throughout the day.
Like we're going to do now.
Like we're going to do now.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you're
I'm
ready,
I'm
we'll
ready.
jump in and we'll go. All right. So where all the information that tells your brain you're in danger comes in through one of your 5 senses. So we're
Yes,
gonna
probably my
use-
eyeballs looking at my phone too much and reading too much content.
Definitely, and another day we'll have a talk about how much content is sensible to look
Yep,
at.
yep.
So with your eyes at the moment, I want you just to notice what is around you.
Yep,
And I want you to notice what is far and what is close.
yep,
Perhaps notice what is natural, what is man-made,
Yeah.
and just feedback some of the things that you're noticing with your eyes.
yeah. Well, I'm noticing that the sky is far and it's blue and it's clear, which is lovely.
It is
It's
beautiful.
really nice, and the ground is near. There's trees nearby, which are really, really beautiful, and they're moving because there's a bit of wind around. There's a really close bird.
That you can see with your
Yeah,
eyes.
that's right,
You might be
exactly.
able
You
to hear it
flew
in a
just
minute.
there. Yeah, there's a lot to look at here. In fact, I can zoom in close and look at some really pretty leaves just above my head right there. Yeah,
Okay. Now with your ears, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to hear the sounds that are far,
Yep.
hear the sounds that are close,
yep,
hear the sounds that are natural, and any that are man-made, and
Yeah.
just reflect that.
that's really easy here. There's a cacophony, is that the word? I can hear some cockies way over there in those trees. I can hear some maggies, I think, up in the tree here. I can hear the wind going through the trees as well. Yeah,
Nice.
there's a lot of noise.
Yeah, and it really draws you in, doesn't it? The
Yeah,
more you listen,
yeah,
it
yes,
draws you in.
it really
and
does.
one of the things we encourage people to do is perhaps when they're doing this themselves, spend a little longer. Like we're just doing it for a demonstration, but spend some time. And the more time you are looking and listening and smelling and touching, the more you will actually notice as you're going
I've just
through.
noticed there's little, they're not butterflies,
Yeah.
little bugs catching in the sunlight there, which is really
and
pretty.
the more time you spend doing this, the more you'll actually
Notice,
Yeah.
Yep.
But this next one we cheat a little bit. I didn't pick this leaf in this beautiful greenery. We actually picked this back at work where we're allowed to
Yes.
pick a leaf.
Yes.
But it is a beautiful gum leaf.
Yeah.
I want you to crush it.
Oh,
smell
yes.
the
I
oils.
can anticipate what I'm going to
Ooh,
smell.
You're going to smell.
Oh, that's stunning. Like straight away. Oh, that's a smell that's not in my house.
What can you smell?
That's beautiful. I can smell the eucalyptus.
Yeah.
That's just beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
a lemon scented gum.
That's lovely.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what you're actually doing at the moment is breathing in the oils, the phytoncides from that tree.
Yeah.
And what we know from
So,
spending
sorry, the
the phytoncides.
phytoncide, is that like a
phytoncides.
chemical thing that's being released?
It is, yeah.
And my body likes it.
Yeah, your body does like it.
I feel like it's, yeah.
It feels good, doesn't it?
It does, it really
and,
does.
And I'll come back to phytoncides. Now open your mouth. Don't taste it,
Yep.
but open your mouth and breathe in.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Actually, it's quite. I can smell the lemony.
Yeah, you can smell the lemony.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And so you may not have a lemon scented gum, but there may be a lavender
There'll be
or a
something.
gum tree or
Yes.
anything with any fragrance that you have
Yeah.
around you that
Yeah.
you can access.
Yep.
All right. What I'd like you to do now is with your sense of feel and touch.
Yep.
Just notice what you feel in the air, the breeze, the coolness, the warmth. I'd like you to touch a tree. I know we get called tree huggers.
I'm not going to hug the tree. I don't want to be live on video
But
hugging the
you
tree.
may touch the tree and tell
Absolutely.
me what your sense of touch.
Well, it feels rough initially, but it just feels enormous. It feels big and steady, and yeah. If my kids were here, they'd want to climb it. There's a bit of adventure that comes up in me when I think about it. Yeah. And it makes me feel like I want to actually get out in the world more. The world is big,
Yeah.
and yeah.
And we want people doing that in safe ways.
Yeah,
We-
because I can't just go climb a mountain and do a bushwalk or have a holiday backpacking somewhere. I have to stay where I am, but there's a tree not dissimilar to this in my backyard.
Okay,
So, yeah,
go touch a tree.
go touch a tree.
So my important question to you in this moment, are you safe?
I am safe, yeah.
Okay.
I think there have been times in the past week when I've been watching news or speaking to people where I've wondered if I was safe, but right now I actually do feel very safe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I had done this exercise, I can't tell you how many times with people, but particularly in this last week, and exactly as we had just done it.
Yep.
And one of the questions that then people say is, but then when I start to think about, I feel unsafe again. Yeah, we're going to.
Yep.
So this is why we need to keep repeating. It may not always be this exercise, but there's lots of grounding exercises we can be doing
So
to
it was
keep bringing us back in.
It was just my senses, wasn't it?
It was
like
just
my,
your
my
five
sight,
senses
my smell, my hearing, and my touch,
and your
and my and my taste as
taste.
well. Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Without having
Yeah.
to actually.
No, that's
you
right.
know,
Don't eat a leaf.
Don't eat a leaf. Don't eat a leaf. For some people, if you don't have a leaf, use some essential oils.
Yeah.
Anything that's got some nice fragrance to it.
Yep.
Essential oils. I actually did one with somebody with Skype yesterday, and I said you can get some essential oils, and up she pops, and she had her essential
Nice.
oils on the table. It was fantastic.
So this is just a practice that everybody might want to just build into their lives in a time to say, I actually just need to ground myself regularly, and I
Yes.
might do it multiple times a day too.
I might do it multiple times a day,
Yeah.
and over the coming days we'll do a whole lot of different
It's
little
really
exercises.
helpful.
So this is part of a practice we call forest therapy.
Yeah.
We know that, so coming back and talking about the phytoncides, we know, and the research shows us, that spending about 3 hours a month, it's not very long, but 3 hours a month doing these mindful practices reduces blood pressure,
Wow.
increases vitality, helps us manage anxiety, helps us manage depression, certainly helps us get back inside that window.
Yep.
And these are things we can be doing, and we all need to be looking at the things we can be doing
Yep.
right at this very moment.
Is it because what I'm putting in to my brain actually resets levels of stuff? Like, I don't understand how that works, but I think about it, if
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at, really dreadful stuff all the time,
Yes.
then my brain's going to respond. But if
Yes.
I'm actually looking at really beautiful stuff,
Yes.
or stuff that's actually meaningful to who I am,
Yeah.
it might settle stuff.
Absolutely.
Whatever stuff is.
Whatever stuff. We know that when you dysregulate, when you go out of your window,
Yep.
there's a whole lot of brain chemistry involved. We know that mindful practice increases what we call the medulla, another part of the brain, that helps us to be calm.
Yep.
We know that time in mindfully spent in nature, as I said, lowers blood pressure,
Yep.
helps slow our heart rate. It has an antimicrobial impact and antifungal, all of these antis that really help increase vitality and keep us strong and well.
good.
So there's a whole lot of science that we'll keep coming back and talking about. Because there's a whole lot of practices that we can be doing. This is about what
Yeah.
we can be doing.
I feel like I've got dozens of questions for you and other topics that I'd love to look at, because I think that we're going to need to get really good
Yeah.
at caring for ourselves
Indeed.
and caring for our mind health,
Yeah.
and then also being able to be an example to those around us.
Around us,
I just
yeah.
feel like if I were to tell my children
Yes.
that this is what I'm doing and
Yes.
say, come with me, let's go in the backyard
Yeah.
and do this,
And this-
how much better
This is
will
great
they
with
be?
kids. I love doing this activity
Yeah.
with kids
Yeah.
and with whole families. You know,
Yeah.
a whole family can go into a background. You and your family system might be isolated. You can do this by yourself if you need a break from your family, or you
Yeah.
might,
Yep.
a couple of times a day, just go out into the back garden or
Love it.
down to your local park, because we can still do that.
Yep.
And just do this exercise, and there's a whole lot of others that we'll be bringing to you.
Great. All right. Well, I'm going to be talking some more to you because we need
Excellent.
all the help we can get. So hopefully that's been really helpful to you guys. Go out in your backyard and go through those 5 different things of what you can see and hear and touch and smell, and maybe even suggest it to other people. So we need to do the best we can to survive some really tricky times. So look after yourselves, and we'll be back with some more information. Thanks heaps, Zoe. That was wonderful.
Thank you.